What's up, guys? We're here after watching the latest episode from the Real Housewives of New York. I'm here with my wife and we're gonna talk about the latest episode. So the first thing that was on there.
Can I just say something? Did you just say I'm your wife?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, this lady that's next to me. Do you want to say hi? You have to be closer.
Hello.
Oh my god.
Okay. Wait, I don't know how to say hi. Okay,
Just say
talk.
hey. This is
the fly!
Oh my god.
What are we doing with the fly?
Okay, so the first thing that they brought up from the last episode was whenever Sonia Morgan was screaming at Ramona about JP Morgan Bank, and she's saying that she's got all of that because the money is going towards her daughter. What do you think about that? Like, if they chose Wells Fargo, the money would have gone from out of her daughter's hands into somebody else. So she's basically protecting her daughter by saying, hey, don't go with that bank, go with the Morgan Bank because that's in my family and that affects my daughter.
Obviously, she was intoxicated, and that alone, that has, no real value, you know? Like, one person's account is not gonna affect your daughter, who's the daughter of the grandson of the, I don't think it has to direct her daughter's money. It was obviously just Sonia drunk.
Yeah, she was being too dramatic.
Let's just start over.
Every time Sonia talks about the Morgan family, it's like so awkward to watch because first of all, you've been divorced or he's been deceased for like 30 years. So like, why are you so uptight with this whole
He's
Morgan?
Not dead.
Oh, he's not dead?
No.
Oh, they've been divorced for a long time and like, you're not even in the picture. So like, just drop this whole Morgan name shenanigans. But that I feel like she just needs to drop that whole, like, she needs to move on. She's still holding on to her old life and she just needs to move on. I feel like once she moves on and drops all of that and forgets it, like she said that all the bank accounts are on her daughter's name, so that's a great first step. Now she just needs to stop talking about it, like don't even mention it and move on.
Obviously she has some issues that she needs to talk to a therapist.
But they always say that drunks speak the truth. And like the next day, obviously she wasn't blackout drunk because she exactly remembered what the argument was about. And she was just thinking about her daughter the whole time. But still, she has to move on, move forward. Sonia, stop thinking about your old divorce. How long have they been divorced? 30 plus years. The next thing was that Sonia was still having... Oh, and I think it's so funny whenever Luann starts to storm out and freak out about alcohol. Like, I feel like she's being over dramatic. I don't know, is that how Luann is? Like, she's a dramatic person and like every time there's alcohol she's like, she freaks out. Is that how she...
I think it really is an issue for her.
But like in the past, has it been like that?
Yeah,
because I haven't really been watching, like this is like the second or third season I watched, so my wife has watched it longer than me, so that's why I ask her from time to time. The next topic is how jealous Sonia is of Luann and her boyfriend Garth. Do you believe that? Like, do you see the jealousy? Because I kind of saw it whenever she's like, Garth. And even when she was drunk, she was upset that Luann was talking to her boyfriend. Like, why is she upset? Is it because she doesn't have a man?
I think Sonia is really seeing Luann's life and then comparing it to her life, and there's just such different points. Like, one is a high and the other one is in a low, and obviously like there's a little bit of jealousy and she's upset. And it just like, especially like if you think about it, when you're like with your friends and you're going through something and then they're like the ones thriving, or like, they just got married or they just had a kid, and then in the meantime you're the one struggling with your relationship, and it's like you can't help but compare. And I think Sonia is going through a hard time. Like, her clothing line store closed, and then she still has like issues with financially with like her apartment affording all that, or her townhome, and she doesn't have like anything huge going for her, or hasn't found like her niche. And like Luann was saying that she found something in her cabaret shows and found love again supposedly, and like Sonia's still lonely. So yeah, it's definitely sad to compare. You shouldn't compare. You can't help it when she's like at a high and the other one's at a low.
I feel like she is jealous just because, like you said, she was just going on and on about how Luann had or like the guy was contacting her. It's kind of funny that like none of them have a man. I mean, or maybe they all have one, but they haven't been publicly about it, or they haven't been sharing it on the show. I feel like the last time Sonia had a boyfriend was whenever she was still living in the townhouse and she was going out with that one British guy, French guy. It's been like 3 seasons already since that. And then I don't like Leah this season. Sober Leah is boring. Why is she hating on Ramona so much? I know Ramona shushed her away, but like she did see that they were filming, having a private conversation. I don't understand why Leah had to be so aggressive and so rude about it.
I love Leah this season. Like, you loved her last season, and I love her this season. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say love, but I'm enjoying her this season because she's like being funny. Like, she says funny things and like she calls it out for what it is. Like, oh, these drunk ladies, or oh, these, or you just said this and now you're doing this. And like, she kind of just is like the voice of what the public is thinking. And it's always interesting to see like what she's gonna dress like next and like what she's gonna tell someone next. So I think I'm enjoying her this season.
I feel like last season it was more organic. She came to the show, she was drunk, she did everything flowingly. Like, I feel like this time, like, everyone dressed up for her Burning Man, like with feathers. Ramona even put some in her hair, did a braid. And then for this show, for this episode, everyone was dressed like Tiffany, like Breakfast at Tiffany, with like a black dress and the hair up. And then here comes Leah in like this long flowy dress. Didn't even look like, she didn't even dress up like the part. Everyone was into cosplay except for Leah. Like, what the hell, Leah? Like, you need to be more. If you want people to like what you do and agree and cosplay with you, why don't you give it back to your friends? That was like rude.
But I liked what Ramona said. Like, she was like, give it to Leah for like not dress like everyone else. And then she was like, but at least it's like vintage Versace or Versace. And it's like, that's like the vibe. I have a question for you. So, did you like Heather?
What I was gonna say, even Heather, she was like invited and she came prepared. Like, she came in sweats and then she dressed in this little black dress. She came and like Leah is there and she's not participating. Like, that's fucked up. Yeah, you want to be the rebel, but then you want other people to do your thing. Like, I'm sorry, but that's messed up. But anyways, Heather, I never watched a show when Heather was on, and then I asked my wife, how is Heather? And you said she was what?
So Heather was like in the previous seasons. I don't know if she was an OG, but she was in the early seasons. And so like a few facts about Heather, if anyone is barely getting into Housewives of New York. So she is like runs in the group. So like she's friends with majority of them, or she used to be. It looks like she was kind of beefing with Luann, but they all used to run in the same group. And Heather is kind of one of the only ones that still is married and like has been married to her husband for a long time, and they have children. I forget how many, or if they're boys or girls, but obviously I think they're grown now. The big thing about Heather was like the fact that she was like a entrepreneur and like a businesswoman, and like so like when she was on the early seasons, she was just like a boss lady, and she owns the brand. I think it's called Yummy. I'll have to look that up. It's the shapewear. So like, you know how Kim now has come out with Skims, Kim Kardashian. So back in the day, Heather started out a company for like the exact same type of stuff, shapewear basically, and I think hers is pretty popular.
So my impressions of Heather were she was very articulate, like the new girl, what's her name? She's very articulate, like the lawyer lady. And even though, so my first impressions of her were she's kind of, I could see that she's a boss. I could see that she runs a show, because whenever Leah tried to like attack her with the blog thing and like she was being so negative towards her, acting like she was bothered, when I'm pretty sure she was ha ha ha. But anyways, because she even like I'm pretty sure she had screenshots of all the negative things she said about everybody in that room. When Heather was being attacked, she was on it. She was defending herself, and I was pretty impressed on the way she talked.
So here's like a little brief background. So it looks like she sold the brand at some point, so she doesn't own it anymore. She's not like the CEO. But here's like a little article I found. It says, before shapewear was everywhere, Heather was a pioneer in the market with Yummy Tummy, but she has since stepped down at Yummy after some major drama and litigations with the company's manager. If you remember Yummy Tummy, that was by Heather. But yeah, she's basically an entrepreneur. Like, she has other businesses. So like every time she comes into the show, you just get a sense of like boss lady, and like she's not afraid to speak up, and she's kind of like pro being yourself and pro not like getting all this plastic surgery or like being drunk. Like she's a little bit more put together. She's friends with Carol, which was on like 3 seasons ago. So like it was really funny to see when Carol came up, like Luann like hates her. I wonder why Luann hates Carol.
Yeah, that was the funniest part in the whole episode whenever Carol's name came up and then Luana was like, that bitch, or what did she say? The rat, because of her last name. And then some of the things that Heather said were on her podcast were about Sonia Morgan's new face. And last season, Sonia's face looked on point, like she looked fresh and young. But this season, she kind of looks busted. I'm wondering if it has to do something with Corona. You know how hospitals are closed?
Okay, first of all, she doesn't look busted. That's rude.
Well, not completely busted, but it looks weird.
I think Sonia's just having a hard time this season. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, okay, Sonia, if you're listening to this, like, I'm sorry, you don't look that you don't look that busted, but just add a little makeup or something. I understand if you don't because, your job or your company failed at the store. And then the show ended with, Ramona. The show ended with Ramona being upset with Leah talking about sexual things. I wonder why she's so bothered with her and talking about sex.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the ending. Like, who's bothered by what?
Ramona's talking about how she doesn't like when sex is brought up, but it's only whenever Leah talks about it.
I think Ramona's trying to keep it a little more classy this season.
But they had the same argument last season, and it's only funny that she can talk about that kind of language with all the other people, but when Leah brings it up, she hates it.
Well, if you recall, like Leah is almost like a daughter figure to Ramona. Like she said it in other seasons. She was like, when they would argue, she was like, honestly, like, you're so young and like I just want to protect you and you are like my daughter. So like she probably just gets uncomfortable when Leah talks about that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something deeper. I think she's kind of jealous of her. But that's it for now. We'll keep y'all posted on the future episodes. Thanks, bye.
See
y'all later.
Okay, Beto, you need to have a good intro and outro. What the hell is thanks, bye?
That's how I end all my shows. Oh, subscribe and comment who's your favorite. Do you agree with our points of views? If not, who do you disagree with? Or y'all think we're right?
Can we do the outro again?
No.
I don't like it.
Okay, no, you say bye now.
Well, I think that was all your questions, right?
Yes.
So, what do you usually say?
Thanks, bye.
I think you need to have a better ending.
I think it's good.
But oh my god. You know what? I'm not gonna help you.
Bye, guys.